It's not just a school problem, it is a societal problem.
In the 2012-2013 school year, there were approximately 2,030 AISD students identified as homeless. The following year, that number rose significantly to 2,490, and last year, 2,642. AISD officials point to Austin's need for more affordable housing as the main cause for the trend.
We, as a city, have not been able to find the housing, set the policies, whatever it takes to bring these kids out of homelessness, and the numbers are going up. We also have the parents who are being denied, that say they qualify for a Section 8 voucher. They can't get that because we have landlords not being willing to take those vouchers.
Of last year's homeless students, Project Help says the vast majority, more than 2,000, lived doubled up in the homes of relatives and friends. Another 275 lived in motels or hotels, 249 lived in shelters, 46 lived unsheltered, often in vehicles, and about 271 students lived away from their parents, often sleeping on a sofa at a friend's house. Some students are counted in multiple categories.
If I had students coming into my room who smelled because their clothes were not being washed, who put their heads down on their desk and went to sleep, and this was a chronic behavior, who acted out, and that usually was in kind of a very physical, talkative way. Sometimes it was because those students lived in a home, but there was poverty conditions, etc. But sometimes it's because those students had no home to be in, and they couldn't get their clothes washed, and they were anxious about where they were going to sleep for the night.
It was hard for him.
April knows the effects of homelessness firsthand. After spending time in an Austin rehab center for a drug addiction, she and her 4-year-old son Michael had no healthy place to live. They started sharing a room and a bed at the Salvation Army shelter.
After Salvation Army, I went to Austin Shelter for Women and Children, and my son started preschool there, which was really tough. Separation anxiety, nightmares from the previous life, from my addiction life. I remember plenty of days where I walked, they had called me, they had called the facility needing my help to come get my son or to come talk to my son, because he would be by himself, not wanting anyone around him, crying, sheltering himself, and needing comfort, but he didn't want comfort from anyone else except me.
In 2010, April and Michael had a breakthrough. They were approved for an affordable apartment in a complex St. Louis house purchased with help from the city's 2006 affordable housing bonds.
This safe and secure home gives you an opportunity to grow as a person. I'm not living out of a car. I'm not living out of a box. I took parenting classes. I'm in school now. I'm going to become a counselor. There's so much growth in my son and I because of St. Louis House.
We need stable, consistent funding so that we can do the kind of outreach that's necessary to identify kids, number one. We, being the city, the county, the school district, and any concerned citizens, need to be working towards addressing policies that will provide foundational supports, social service supports to these kids.
I'm Housing Works Austin Executive Director Mandy DeMeo.